What's going on, everybody? It's Dan Moonshine, the Hillbilly Hellraiser. How you doing? I'm doing all right. Can't complain too much. It's a nice, beautiful day today in Tampa. Um, Physical therapy's going decent. Could be better, could be worse. Do a follow up with the doctors in the clinic that I'm going to see if we can maybe figure out what exactly might be causing the issues that sent me to physical therapy in the first place, and then we'll go from there. I'm kind of I'm a cynic, generally speaking, when it comes to anytime I have to wind up in a doctor's office. I tend to be of the belief that if you know me and you know how I am, you know that me going to the doctor's office, there's a reason for it. So I tend to like to not go to the doctor's office, but sometimes it can't be avoided. So we'll see how things go there. But yeah, go see the doctor soon. And I'm in week 3 of the physical therapy. It's been kicking my ass. It's the only thing I've been doing. I haven't been in the gym in 3 weeks. I I've had two C4s since then, which kind of sucks because I think I was kind of addicted to those things. But I guess it's kind of good that if I'm addicted to them, the weaning off of them. Other than that, things are well. I am working on. I checked out the poll that I did a couple weeks back, and by and large, the people I got like 12 votes last time I checked, and the majority of the people wanted to see me do a Goat Whore album ranking. So that's what I'm working on. I've been listening to the stuff nonstop, taking notes. Um, Pretty much have a good general idea of where I'm going to go with it, and then just kind of figuring out a way to format it to make it entertaining. Try to keep it under an hour and yeah, just do that. But yeah, as far as what I'm doing today, I just wanted to try to do a quick one here. I was almost not going to do this just because I don't like I was kind of debating in my brain, in my stupid brain, about going to this thing and then posting videos and pictures and stuff like that. And I just don't want to make it seem like I just went to this thing for clout or anything like, because that's not what I'm about. I'm not about the clout. I'm a poet and didn't know it. But anyhow, I thought this was kind of cool. I thought people who are not from the area or who maybe live in the area and weren't aware that this was going on, that it'd be kind of cool to put the word out, shine a spotlight on it, because it's a very cool thing that's being done down here. There's a guy, if I'm not mistaken, his name is Death Metal Dave, and he started a thing called the Tampa Bay Museum of Metal. And basically, what it is, it's a museum of metal. As everyone knows, Florida, in particular, the Tampa Bay area, has a very rich and storied history within the metal scene as a whole. Very, very instrumental in the rise of death metal in the '90s, as everybody knows. Morrisound Studios, even going a little bit further, you had Eric Rutan's Mana Studios in St. Pete. You had the Orlando with Death, but primarily a lot of it was centered around Tampa. You had Deicide, Obituary, Morbid Angel. Uh, Even though Cannibal Corpse are from Buffalo originally, they came down here. Acheron, Nocturnus, Malevolent Creation, Disincarnate. Like I said, Death. Even though they were more Orlando based. Just so many bands. I mean, Diabolic, Angel Corpse, just an just a metric ton of death metal bands that cut their teeth down here. And then you had all the other like Iced Earth called this home for a while. Savatage, Nasty Savage, Crimson Glory, all these friggin' Monstrosity, who I'm going to talk about. Just a ton of just an amazing scene down here. So Dave, and I would imagine probably the idea is to eventually get a actual set in stone brick and mortar physical location to show off a lot of stuff. But they did an exhibit this past weekend. A bunch of people reminded me of it. I actually, not to gloat or anything. I'm not trying to like peacock or anything, but Vincent Crowley from Acheron, he was telling me about it, and he was mostly telling me because he wanted me to know that he wasn't going to be able to attend it, which sucked. But he had obligations and wasn't able to make it down to Tampa for the thing. But he said he was going to have a display there. Then the night before, one of my best friends, he let me know that it was happening, reminded me the day of. One of my coworkers and friend let me know about it. So it was kind of one of those deals like I was all right, I'll go. It was open from on Saturday 12 to 10 p.m. and then on Sunday it was open from 12 to 4. So I swung in there from between 12 and 3 because I had to work at 3. And man, it was cool. I mean, it was a very cool thing. I will, as I'm talking about it, you'll see some of the pics and video and stuff like that. But there were a ton of displays. You walked into the building. First of all, it was at a place called Magnanimous Brewing, which was on Nebraska Avenue in Tampa, which is right in kind of my neck of the woods. So it wasn't too far away from me, which is nice. It was like a quick 10-minute drive down the interstate to get there. I could have probably done it in 15 just taking the main street that it was on. But yeah, it was cool. You go outside, and I mean, there was tons of people there, which was very cool. They had vendors all set up outside. One vendor was Vile Vinyl, the other one was Morbid Subculture. I didn't get the name of a couple of the other ones that were out there, but they were selling CDs and shirts and horror collectibles, mags and stuff like that. It was very cool, little open air vendor situation happening. You go inside, and then they had just a gigantic wall of not posters, but portraits, pictures of all the different bands from the area. It was super cool. Lots of action shots. I don't know who the photographer was on a lot of them, but it was really cool. That's the first thing you see when you walked into the brewery. A very cool place if you're into like all those like craft beers and stuff like that. This is a pretty cool place to go to. I'm not a huge beer drinker, so I can't comment on the beer or anything like that. I'll drink socially, but I don't drink a lot. I don't drink often, and the little bit that I do is socially. I'm Irish, so I got to watch it with the booze. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, you walk in, and a couple of the figures in the local metal scene, they had things. They had little booths set up. There's a gentleman, Drew. He has a YouTube channel called Drinking with Drew. He had a table set up. Death Metal Dave. I believe, has I think he is in charge of the Tampa Bay Museum of Metal YouTube channel. So go check that out. Give it a subscription. Check out any videos that you see of it. There's another guy, Jason Stallworth, was there. He does like guitar training, like guitar teaching videos and stuff like that. Very cool stuff. He didn't have a booth. He was just there. And yeah, you walk in, and there's Drew had his table, Mike Browning had a table setting up for Nocturnus, and that was very cool. Uh, Pete Slate, who you can see right here, he was manning the Acheron table, which was, I'll just go into it real quick. As you can see, I got a beanie. I picked up a beanie. I love my beanies, and he had one there, and it was the last one. So it was calling me, Dan, come to me. Come take me home with you. And I was, yes, master. Yes, I must take you. I need a new beanie. And I got that, and then also got this. I got one of those Kenyan record remasters of The Rites of the Black Mass on vinyl. Very cool. This was the design, as you can read, that was done by Vincent himself. I'll try to pull it out and do it as neatly as I can, but this was number 14 of 250 for those of you that care about that sort of thing. But it was just one of those deals like, yeah, man, I had to get this. It was just sitting there calling my name. I've been neglecting getting this. This is the second pressing version of it. I didn't. He didn't have any. He didn't have any first pressings of it, but I'll try to pull this out as neatly as I can because I'm trying to preserve this as best I can. But you can see the gatefold of the album. Very cool stuff. Vincent designed the cover himself. Not the cover, but he designed the albums himself. There's a poster in there which I'll try not to. You can see, you kind of get the general idea without making too much of a mess here. The booklet is very cool. You can see that Vincent rocking some hair. There was some liner notes from David Gelke, which is very cool, talking about the history of the album and then the lyrics, so on and so forth. Some more stuff there, some more of the album liner notes. But here, I'll show you. I'll try to show you this real quick. I didn't want to turn this into a whole Asheron unboxing video. And I was honestly trying to keep this a little bit shorter than it's going, but y'all know me. So, yeah, it's very cool stuff. Yeah, check that out. Yeah, Vincent designed these. These were his ideas for the records. And it was very, very cool stuff. The other one has, if I can get it out of there, has a different look to it. So I'll show you that real quick. Yeah, check that out. Check out that bad boy. Yeah, very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff. So that was another one. I just had to pick that up. I'll jump forward a little bit later. Lee Harrison got there, and I got chit chatting with him a little bit. Got talking about the new album. Uh, they're about to go on a European tour. They're just looking for, they got he was saying they got a new booking agency, so they're looking to land a good tour here in the States, hoping to see them here in Florida. But I walked back because I took a picture. It turned out like crap, and I had to go back and do it again. When I went back, he was pulling out all sorts of merchandise and stuff, and I saw he had shirts. So I picked up this sweet Imperial Doom one. Check that out. And that's the back of that one. It's like being a dork. But yeah, very cool stuff. Very, very friendly. Fun story about that. He used to work at a place where my old tag partner and another really good friend of mine worked. And I was asking him if he happened to remember the guys because they invited him to a wrestling show. They were working a show. I wasn't on the show, but I went to the show with them. And Lee came out and they introduced us because they knew that he was in Monstrosity, and they knew that I liked metal, and they didn't know Monstrosity from a hole in the ground. So they invited him and introduced us, and it was a very awkward meeting because we didn't really have much to talk about with each other outside of, oh, it was very cool to meet you, so on and so forth. And I was just kind of like thinking in my head, because it was kind of even just talking to him about the whole working where he was working with my buddies. It was kind of awkward because he obviously didn't remember anything I was talking about. He didn't remember being at the show or anything like that. And I was like, yeah, it was kind of an awkward meeting. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, kind of like right now. But of course, I didn't say any of that. But obviously, I'm saying it now. But it was funny, and I appreciate those awkward moments in life that we all seem to have. But I seem to have a lot more of them than many people. And that's just kind of how I am. But anyhow, it was just a very cool, all the different displays. There was this kick-ass one with Morbid Angel stuff. They had a the drum riser, the banner for the front of that. They had an amazing one that they used for I believe it was Covenant, the backdrop that they had. They had a backdrop. There was a whole cool Crimson Glory thing. Some masks from the singer Midnight. They have this very cool Nasty Savage display with some of Ronnie's headgear. Uh, their drummer who had passed away, some of his stuff was on display. This is very kick-ass. You were walking as you walk past the first aisleway of displays of all the band stuff. You walk past the Nocturna stuff, the Acheron. There was a whole wall, like two gigantic walls of flyers. I mean, it was. I didn't even get pictures of one because there's a bunch of people there, but I took some of the other, and there's just so much cool stuff there. I mean, stuff that I really wished I would have had all day to look at this thing because there was so much to look at. There was a. They had some Brett Hoffman handwritten lyrics for Malevolent Creation, some hand drawn artwork that he donated to the thing. Bunch of I don't know if they were on sale or not. I didn't really ask, but bunch of classic LPs and things of that nature, all set up in display exhibit cases. You walk then the Morbid Angel one, Crimson Glory one. Then you walk, and there was this beautiful setup of drum sets for both Doc from Savatage and Mike Browning. They had both donated different sets. Mike had used one for Asheron, the other for Nocturnus. Doc used the drum set for it was in the when the my brain's failing me right now. But when the lights are gone, or I can't remember the song. It's a beautiful song, and I can't remember the title of it. But you'll see it on the thing here. Um, but yeah, very very cool stuff. Then you walk to the left. If you were to turn to the left, you got to see Morrisound had a thing set up. A guy named Dallas was working the booth there. Very cool guy. Monstrosity, they had their thing. James Murphy had a setup going on. He had a line of people that were standing there waiting to see him. I actually got talking to him. I didn't get talking to him. I talked to one of the people next to him because next to them was there was not only there was this beautiful backdrop of John Oliva's Pain and a Sabotage setup. Just fantastic stuff. And then there was this very cool obituary in the corner with 6 Feet Under, a backdrop for Haunted, backdrop for The Incomplete. They had a poster. They had that poster. And I just kind of looked at the guy who was standing next to me and I said, yeah, man, their poster's in much better shape than mine. And he just kind of looked at me like, what? And so I just kind of laughed at that. And then we got talking because he was there to meet James Murphy. He was telling me how Bobby Gustafson from Overkill was going to be there later in the day. I saw Paul Masvidal walking around a little bit. So, and there was a whole little stage set up that I figured they were probably doing. Maybe Drew with the Drinking with Drew podcast and Death Metal Dave. We're probably going to do some interviews with some of the key figures and the guests that were there. Then you turn the corner and Gene Palabicki was there. He had a setup with his Angel Corpse and Perdition Temple and Malefic Throne. Ronnie Palmer was there. It was a little early because my brain didn't. It just wasn't firing on all cylinders. Not that it ever does, but it just wasn't firing on all its cylinders. And because I wanted to ask about how Promethean Horde's new album is going because Ronnie's in that. Talked to Gene very very briefly. He was nice enough to me, entertaining my foolishness. Uh, had to shamefully tell him because he asked me if I picked up the new Malefic Throne. I was like, I did, and then I had to tell him about the whole shipping issues that are happening with Agonia and getting it from them. And he was like, yeah, I've heard that from a few people. And he's like, yeah, I usually go through hells with domestically. I was like, yeah, I know, but I was trying to get that digital download, so I had it so I could go to the gym and all that sort of stuff with it. And then there was a bunch of other displays. It was a very, very cool thing, a very cool setup. I really wish I would have had more time to go check it out a lot longer, just really dive into it. It was just very cool to walk around and look at this thing. So if the next time it's Tampa Bay Museum of Metal.com, I believe is the website. They do have a YouTube channel. I'll provide links for all this stuff on the video, as well as I'll add a couple of the other channels around here if you want to go check out some of the other guys. I'm sure the Tampa Morgue guys were going to be there if they weren't already. I know I was watching Revik's video, and he just by watching one of his recent videos, I learned that one of the Tampa Morgue guys is actually the new vocalist for Monstrosity. So very cool stuff. Very much looking forward to that album. Probably gonna get it. I'm probably gonna pre-order it very, very soon here. I saw a lot of Metal Blade. Saw some of it was sold out already, so very cool stuff. But yeah, it was a good time. I mean, I didn't get a lot of time to spend there, but it was very cool. The little bit of time that I got to go there and just explore the history of the metal scene here in Florida. I mean, it was just a vast, wide, and rich history of metal and music down here. And there's so many people that live in the area that have no idea about it. And like I said, I'm sure that the goal is to eventually get a physical location to put all this stuff. And then probably it'll entice bands to add more stuff to it. And it'd be cool, man. I mean, because yeah, there's like a deicide had a thing there. They had a couple cabinets there that Kevin had on display. A couple flags from I imagine different tours that they had done, different countries. And yeah, it was cool. It was a very, very cool experience just going to this thing. And again, I wish I would have had A, more time and B, more money on me because I would have probably gone nuts there with some of the stuff. I didn't really pick up that much. I got the shirt, I got the hat, I got the vinyl, and I did pick up Relics of the Dead from Pete. I was going to get it from Hell's doing one of their sales, but I said, you know what? Support the musicians while I'm here. There was some other things that I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass. I didn't just go ahead and pick up while I was there, but it is what it is. And yeah, it was very cool stuff. So yeah, that's my little mini tour of the Tampa Bay Museum of Metal. I hope you enjoyed it. Go check out all their stuff. And if you're in the Florida area, particularly in Tampa, and you're here when one of these things when it's going to be on exhibit, definitely take the time to go check it out. It's a very cool thing to check out. You know, even if you're not really a metal person and you're here, go check it out. It's just cool to go see this stuff and be like, holy crap, I didn't know that any of this existed in this area. You know, it's just, and I think a lot of normie type people, they don't really, that's something that they don't know. I mean, I tell people about it all the time. I was telling one of my coworkers about it last night, and she's like, "I did not know. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know that any of this, that this was even a thing down here." And it was just like, yeah, this is a hotbed, and it definitely was. It was the epicenter in the '90s, and just a cool place. And it's one of the few things I like about Tampa. There's a lot of things I don't like about Tampa, but this is one of the things that I truly, truly enjoy. Between the vibrant wrestling scene that came out of here in the late '70s, early '80s, and '90s, to the metal scene here in the '80s and '90s, this is like it's cool sometimes to be down here. And I just sit back and think, like, yeah, as far for someone who's a metalhead and a pro wrestling dude, this is a cool place to live. But yeah, that's what I got for you. So hope you all enjoyed it. I gotta get going. I gotta do my physical therapy. Right now it's the afternoon. I didn't have time to do it this morning because I had to take care of some personal matters. And yeah, that's that. So this is Dan. This has been Moonshine talking. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Everybody, as always, stay sick, stay heavy, stay brutal. Always tuck your chin upon impact, and don't forget to breathe. Keep head banging and iron slanging. But watch your neck, protect your neck, like Wu Tang says. And everybody, take it easy. Have a good one. I'll catch you on the next video. Later.